Here is an Instagram. Adam Flagler is entering the NBA. Adam Flagler is entering the NBA draft, and this is different than what we have seen before. This says agent. There was Adam Flagler back in 2021 who entered the draft along with, in fact, 2020 entered the draft, I think, with Maceo Teague, 21 spring. Came back, and, of course, they would have won the national championship, the 2021 national championship. He has also dipped his toes in there before, including, I think, last year. But this time it does seem to be he is gone, that he is entering the draft. And I don't blame Adam Flagler. He has maybe getting some great information about his draft stock. There was, and in fact, if you've heard from Ashley Hodge or pretty much almost anyone, they felt pretty good about Adam Flagler coming back, just like they do about Jalen Bridges. But what this does do, if this does close the door, and it appears it does, is now Baylor can strike in the transfer portal with whatever players and whoever else is out there.
I mean, they can, but are they going to find another Adam Flagler? I mean, that's the issue. Pretty good player to be losing on top of what you're already losing. So, yeah, that team next year is going to look markedly different. I think, if you were expecting him to leave the entire time, it'd be a less severe blow. But the fact that there was this thought that maybe you could get him back, and that probably was a little chum in the water for folks of like, oh, yeah, we're losing this guy, we're losing that guy, we're losing that guy. But, hey, Adam Flagler comes back. That kind of solves a lot of the puzzle, or some of it at least, and now he's out the window. So, yeah, it's a tough pill to swallow. I'll ask y'all this. I saw our buddy from – was it Sirius, Robbie, right? Robbie Triano.
Yeah.
And he's, sometimes he just throws stuff out there and he doesn't follow up necessarily. I wouldn't bet with him ever and expect to get the reward in return. I'll say that, and I say that lovingly, but he's not a big believer in Scott Drew and the basketball team next year, which is fine. But he uses today's news as even more like, hey, they're losing guys who had a chance to come back and play, like had guys who had chances to come back and be like bigger stars that are deciding to leave. He's viewing it from the outside as like, uh-oh, what's going on there?
Yep.
How do you view that?
I'm viewing it as he's won a national title. He had the wear and tear of last season. I'm viewing it as he is probably pretty much just ready to move on from the college game, even if he could come back and play for a place that he loves. I don't think Adam Flagler has a mean bone in his body. I do think that he's just making the decision to move on to a different journey, see how it goes, whether it's in the NBA, possibly the G League, and or elsewhere. I don't think this has anything to do with the ships jumping, the passengers jumping out of a plane or off the ship.
Yeah, I don't either, but I thought I'd throw that out there so we could at least address it because that is probably going to be the thought of some people looking from the outside in. But, yeah, I don't have any concern about Scott Drew and roster management and all that. I do think that you're seeing the effects of NIL in a major way, though. I think that that's very clear, and that is one area that if they were a different school, then perhaps they can keep like 2/3 of this together. But the fact that they're not, you wonder how much they can keep together when that gets involved. So I think that is as much of a major issue for them keeping things assembled as any like, what's going on with the culture? I don't have any concerns about that. I think this is, just looking for a new opportunity. You've been somewhere for a while, and also, it's the NBA draft, so it's not like you're hopping over like Dale Bonner did or, others have to different LJ Cryer to different schools necessarily. But, yeah, it's a tough break, no doubt about it.
And speaking of Dale Bonner, he now has a new home. Dale Bonner has committed to play in the Big Ten for Ohio State, the Buckeyes. So Dale Bonner, he entered the transfer portal. It's been, maybe a couple of weeks or so. He now is a part of the Ohio State Buckeyes. So there we are with a former Baylor Bear who is now a part of somewhere else in Columbus, Ohio. Couple of college football notes.